The snow began to fall before the pass. At first, these were light flakes, those that look almost beautiful on the windshield, as if someone was pouring feathers from the sky. I even slowed down to get a better look at the mountains. They were lost in the milk of the fog, and the road led up, as if dragging me somewhere where the world ends. I went alone. I left Denver in the morning. I wanted to cut the way through the old highway to get to a small resort. I planned to shoot material for the blog. Abandoned places, strange roads, forgotten stories. People love that. But I ignored the weather forecast. Snowfall in the mountains, they said on the radio. Possible road closures. I just smiled then. I always smile before I do something stupid. When I got to the pass, the snow was already falling on the wall. The dieters did not have time. Visibility, 10 meters, no more. The headlights shone into the white void, as if I was not driving on the road, but through the fog in the vacuum. The GPS began to glitch. The arrow was spinning like a compass in movies about cursed places. I thought about turning around, but nothing could be seen behind. Only white. Only silence. And then I saw a sign. It arose suddenly, just from the fog. An old wooden shield, skewed, half covered with snow. The black letters were almost erased, but I was able to read. Silver Creek, 2 miles. I didn't remember such a town on the map. But 2 miles is nothing. You can stop by, wait out the storm, drink coffee, and then drive on. I turned, and in a minute I regretted it. The road became narrow. It's like it hasn't been cleaned for a long time. The snow lay in a thick layer, and under the wheels it crunched as if I was not driving on asphalt, but on old ice. There are only dark silhouettes of trees around. They stood too close to the road, as if they had closed so as not to let me back in. The radio began to hiss. I turned the knob and thought the signal was disappearing through the mountains. But the hiss did not disappear. It was smooth, mechanical, like an old TV without a channel. And suddenly the voice. Female. Calm. Official. Attention. Mandatory evacuation has been announced. I repeat, mandatory evacuation for the residents of Silver Creek. Leave the area immediately. I smiled. Probably a record. The old transmitter. This happens in the mountains. But then she said, date, January 17th, 1987. I stopped smiling. The town appeared suddenly. There were no lights, no signs, no passage. It's just that the trees split up and I ended up on the main street. And I immediately realized that something was wrong here. Machines. They were everywhere. Just in the middle of the road, near the sidewalks, near the gas station. Old pickups, sedans, minivans. All are covered with snow, but not enough to look abandoned for centuries. Almost everyone had the door open. Driver, passenger, some even trunks, as if people came out. And they didn't come back. I shut off the engine, and in the silence I heard only the wind. He walked between the houses, wailed in broken signs and played with the snow like ashes. I didn't want to go out, but curiosity is my biggest problem. I took the camera, turned on the recording. Okay, I muttered into the lens. I accidentally came across a ghost town in the Colorado mountains. It looks like something very old. And strange. I lied. I was already afraid. The snow creaked underfoot. This sound has always been familiar to me. Dry, crisp. But here he seemed louder, as if the emptiness around intensified every step. I went to the nearest car. Old blue station wagon. The door is open. Inside is a child seat. There is a blanket on the seat. On the floor is a thermos that is turned over and frozen, creating a strange amber ONS of ice. The keys were still in the ignition lock. I touched them, and he almost jerked his hand away. They were warm. I looked around. The snow was falling thicker. The street seemed shorter than a minute ago, as if the houses were sliding closer, compressing the space. I said to myself, it's panic. Nothing more. The radio in the car behind me came to life again. I didn't hear the engine start, but from the open door came the same voice. The evacuation continues. I repeat, do not stop. Don't get out of the cars. Don't listen to the voices on the street. I slowly turned around. The radio was playing. By itself. Don't make contact, the voice continued. They're not people. I turned off the camera. It's a joke, I whispered to myself, but he said it so quietly, as if he was afraid that someone would hear. I went into the nearest building. Old cafe. The door was open. The showcase was cracked, but not broken, as if from extreme cold. Above the entrance hung a sign on which you could still understand the word. Diner. Inside it smelled of dust and something metal. The chairs stood straight. There are napkins, salt shakers, and even plates on the tables. It's like people came out just a minute ago. There was a burger on one plate. Frozen, but not covered with dust. I ran my finger over the surface of the table. Clean. It's like here. Someone is still cleaning. And then I heard it. Steps. Somewhere in the kitchen. Slow. Pulling. It's like someone is walking barefoot on the ice. I froze. The footsteps stopped. And in this silence I realized that I had made a mistake. Because now I didn't hear the wind. I didn't hear anything. It's like the whole world has held its breath. Is there anyone here? I whispered. And immediately regretted. Because the answer came. From behind. You shouldn't have got out of the car. The voice was quiet. Hoarse. Elderly. I turned around. And I saw a man. He stood at a door that wasn't there a second ago. Tall, thin, in an old coat. His hair was grey, but strangely, as if icy. And the eyes were too dark, as if they didn't have proteins. Do you live here? I asked, although I could hear my voice tremble. He shook his head slowly. We stayed here. Where is everyone? I asked. I knew it was the wrong question, because he smiled, but not with the mouth. There was a smile in my eyes. They left, he said, but not far away. I took a step back, and at that moment I noticed something else. The snow on his shoulders didn't melt, and he didn't fall. He just hung in the air around him like fine dust. You have to go, he whispered. Where to? He looked at the door, and then on me again, until they noticed that you were warm. I didn't ask any more questions. I ran. The snow on the street now fell completely differently. It was thicker, darker. It's not white, it's grey. And most importantly, now I heard other sounds. Door. They opened. Slowly. One by one. All over the street. I looked around. And I saw how the shadows began to move in the cars. Not people. Dark silhouettes moving slowly, as if waking up after a long sleep. Some turned their heads. In my direction. The radio in the nearest car screamed. If you hear that, don't stop. They imitate people. They are waiting for you to freeze. I rushed to my car. The door was there. Thank God. I flew inside, slammed them and turned the key. The engine did not start immediately. It was the longest second of my life. Because outside the window, they were already standing. First one. Old man. The same. He looked at me through the glass. And now I saw his eyes clearly. They weren't dark. They were empty. It's like there's only snow inside. Then another figure. A woman in a nightshirt. Child. One more. They came closer, but did not touch the car. They just stood. And they watched. The radio spoke again. Now with a different voice. Male. Broken. We couldn't leave, he whispered. The snow wasn't real. He came from heaven, but remained inside. I stepped on the gas. The car rushed forward. I didn't look in the mirror. I didn't look to the sides. I was just driving. The road back was longer. Much longer. And then I understood. I didn't remember how I got here. No turns. No signs. Nothing. Only the white tunnel. The snow was becoming thicker. The headlights almost didn't pierce anything. And then, I saw them. On the road. People. Tens. They were standing right in the middle of the track. Immovable. Face to me. I pressed the brakes. And at that moment the radio screamed. Don't stop. I don't know why I obeyed. Probably instinct. I stepped on the gas. And I went straight through them. The car didn't crash into anything. There were no blows. There were no screams. Nothing. Just the feeling as if I drove through a cold fog. And then, Everything is gone. I went on the road at night. The snow suddenly stopped. The sky was clear, as if there had never been a storm. GPS has come to life. The music is back. I stopped on the side of the road and just sat looking ahead. My hands were shaking. I didn't know how much time had passed. A few hours later, I got to the motel. The first thing I saw. I didn't sleep that night. And in the morning, I checked the records. The camera worked, but most of the files were damaged. Only one video was opened. The last one. I'm sitting in the car on it. I look at the camera. The face is pale. The eyes are red. And I say, if you're watching this, don't get off the road in the mountains during a snowfall. There are places that are no longer there, but they are still waiting. I stop. I lean closer to the camera. And if you hear the radio, from the past, silence, and then I say something I don't remember. The recording ends in half a word, but I read it on the lips. And since then, I don't sleep properly. Because there was, don't let them stay warm. I turned off the video and sat in silence for a long time. And then I noticed something. On my glass, from the inside, small patterns, as if from the cold. But the room was warm. I ran my finger over the glass, and I felt cold, deep, alien. And then I heard a sound. Quiet, barely audible. Creak. It's like someone is slowly opening the car door. From the outside. In the corridor of the motel. And I understood. There was no snow left in the mountains. He went with me.